We're at the Calvary Baptist Church here in Muleshoe, and we're talking with Kristyl Albertson Reyna. And Kristyl is fixing to lead another Grief Share program here in Muleshoe. Now tell us, what is Grief Share exactly, Kristyl?
Grief Share is a grief support program, and it's a 13-week session, and you watch a video for an hour, and then you just start talking to the group, and that shares everybody's emotions.
And now, who is this for? People who have lost a husband or a wife, or what?
It's for anybody that has had a loss: husband, wife, friend, coworker, anybody in your family.
And does it have to be someone who has died just recently?
No, it can be many years. It can be recently, anytime.
And so when will you actually start the Grief Share program?
It will start July 1st at 5:30 here at Calvary.
And what day of the week is that?
That is a Wednesday.
So a Wednesday, and you'll meet every Wednesday night then for the next 13 weeks?
Yes, ma'am.
And so how much does this cost?
The workbook is $15, and other than that, it's free.
And so there's no cost really, except if you want the workbook.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, tell us a little bit about each session. What does it contain?
It contains information about how the healing process starts and the different emotions that you go through during grief.
And so now you are the leader. And how did you get involved with Grief Share?
Well, my husband died about 3 years ago in December in Tulsa, and my son got me involved with Grief Share with his pastor. And if it hadn't been with them, I don't know if I would have made it by myself in Tulsa, because I have no family there.
I know that would be very difficult, being in a community, and really not a community, in a metropolitan area, without really having a support group from your family.
Yes, ma'am. That was a very scary time for me and my son, because my son is now 15, fixing to go on 16.
So he was how old then?
He was 13. And it was his stepdad that died, and we were both there by ourselves, and we were going through different emotions at the same time. And he found his pastor, and he was like, my mom could really need some help. And so his pastor came out running to me and said, Grief Share, we've got Grief Share. And I was like, what's that? So he was explaining to me what was going on. And my son and I have both been through Grief Share. And
both of you?
Yes, ma'am.
So it's age-wise, it's for who?
It's not for little kids, but for teenagers or anybody, because my son's also had multiple deaths this year and last year as well.
And so it's on up through elderly.
Yes, ma'am. It is.
So any age, any sex, I guess, too.
Yes, my current husband, Charlie Reyna, he's also a co-leader. So if we've got men coming, then he'll split off the men with the women, and we can just both co-lead.
So how long have you lived here in the Muleshoe area this time?
It has been now a year.
A year.
Yes, ma'am.
And so how often have you had Grief Share in Muleshoe?
This will be my third session.
And so it starts July the 1st at 5:30?
Yes.
And how long is each session?
It's 2 hours long. It's 2 hours long, and it will end about 7:30, and it will be at the old church here at Calvary.
Oh, over in the Fellowship Hall area of the Calvary Baptist Church.
Yes.
And that's at the corner of West 18th Street and West Avenue C here in Muleshoe. And so virtually it costs nothing except a little bit of your time once a week on a Wednesday night starting July the 1st. Now, so you took the Grief Share program. yourself just one time?
No, I've been through it multiple times in Tulsa. I would go through it the first 13 weeks, and the first 3 videos, they kind of hit you, and it's like, oh my goodness, you're going through all the grief, and you don't really remember. So I had to go through it multiple times.
And so you certainly want people who have taken it before to come back and take it again if they would like to.
Yes, I've actually got some participants from my last session is going to come back as well.
And so for you, just if you could tell somebody what it has done for you as an individual, as a wife, what would you say?
It is the most phenomenal program that I have been through. Grief is a very emotional, traumatic situation that you can be in. But if it hadn't been through Grief Share, I don't know what would have happened, because I had nobody. And it's also a support system. After the 13 weeks, we bring all the alumni back, and we just kind of get together and fellowship and talk about where we were and where we are now. And even my Tulsa friends, they call me, and we do the same thing over the phone. So I'm not going to drop everybody after the 13 weeks.
So you stay in touch?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
And so how many people can you really take care of in one session?
Oh, we can, as many as will come, basically.
Oh, really?
Yes, ma'am.
And so this is for men and women and teenagers on through whatever age, anyone who's lost a loved one, a friend, or a family member either. Right?
Yes, ma'am. And if there's child care that is needed, just please contact me and I'll get it set up for you.
How would they contact you, Kristyl?
By phone, it's 806-315-2237.
And so you moved back to Muleshoe. Of course, you were reared here.
Yes, ma'am.
Kristyl Albertson. And so you came back to Muleshoe after you remarried, right?
Yes.
And so where does your son go to school?
He goes to school in Lasbuddy.
And how old is he now, did you say?
He's almost 16.
Almost 16. And what's his name?
His name is Ian Hudson.
And so where do you work?
I work in Dimmitt.
In the school?
Yes, ma'am.
In the school. And so you teach?
Yes.
What do you teach?
This year I'll be teaching 3rd grade.
3rd grade. What a challenge.
Yes.
And what does your husband, Charlie Reyna, do?
He works at Bovina Feeders.
But you live where?
In Lasbuddy.
So you teach at Bovina, you live at Lasbuddy, your son goes to school at Lasbuddy, and your husband works at Bovina the feeder.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're a member of this church, Calvary Baptist Church. And, of course, the pastor, the Reverend Jeff Kaufman, certainly welcomes you to come. This is just a Baptist program?
Well, no, it's just a non-denominational program. We are not asking anybody to join the church. We're just helping the community deal with their grief.
You're just sponsoring it?
Yes.
And so it's for anyone of any denomination or no denomination?
Yes, ma'am.
What if you're not a Christian?
Well, that will do, we would love for you to be a Christian, but if you're not, you're still grieving. So it's going to help you no matter if you're a Christian or not a Christian. But it teaches you a lot of things about Jesus going through grief.
So it's open to everyone. And it's just sponsored by this church and held in their fellowship hall area.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Yes.
So this is Wednesday on July the 1st, the first session of a Grief Share support program. It is not for anyone of any specific denomination or no denomination, and it's really free. If you want to buy the workbook, it's how much?
$15.
$15. And so I know that probably you've had people who have gone through the program here in Muleshoe who have been pleased.
Yes, ma'am. I've gotten great feedback on the class.
And basically, this isn't something you made up. This is something that who really sponsors this, or who takes you through the course?
It's actually the Grief Share program. And when I came to Muleshoe, I saw a lot of people grieving. There's been a lot of deaths and stuff. And I asked Jeff, I said, do we have Grief Share? And he was like, no, what is it? So he started looking on the internet. He was like, okay, you're going to sponsor. You're going to be leading it. And it's called Grief Share program. And it's not sponsored by Calvary. It's just sponsored by themselves. And there is a class that I even had to go through to be a leader.
A leadership program that you went through before you could actually lead this.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, here in Muleshoe, was that the first time you had led it?
Yes.
So how many graduates do you have?
I now have 19.
19. Well, that's wonderful. And I'm sure that any of these people would share with you their feelings about it. And I took it in the spring, and I really found it to be most helpful. And I would encourage you to. Now, give us your telephone number again.
It's 806-315-2237.
But all you need to do is show up here at the Calvary Baptist Church at the corner of Avenue C and West 18th Street here in Muleshoe on July the 1st at 5:30. And you don't have to pre-register or anything, but you certainly can call Kristyl if you have any questions about the Grief Share support group. I think anybody in any group, if they go through something with other people, they will find that others understand your grief, and it will help you. Thank you, Kristyl.
Thank you so much.
We've been talking with Kristyl Albertson Reyna, who is the leader of the Grief Share program starting here in the summer session in Muleshoe at Calvary Baptist Church.